Have you ever asked for feedback at work? We've all been there, seeking input from our bosses or teammates to help us grow professionally. But how often has that feedback actually been? Well, helpful? If you're like most people, probably not as often as you'd hoped. You know the type of feedback I'm talking about. Someone tells you, you need to show more leadership, but they don't explain what that actually looks like in practice. Or they say your presentation could be better, without giving you concrete steps to improve it. Here's the thing, this vague, unhelpful feedback isn't just your imagination. It's a widespread organizational problem. A staggering 85% of Fortune 500 companies use 360-degree feedback systems, spending over $4 billion annually on these programs. Yet despite this massive investment, most workplace feedback fails to provide the specific, actionable guidance. Employees need to actually improve their performance. The numbers tell a sobering story. In one major study, only 26% of employees strongly agreed that the feedback they received at work led them to do better work. So what's going wrong here? The root of the problem lies in how feedback naturally focuses our attention on the past. When someone gives you feedback, they're typically evaluating what you've already done. Your comments in last week's meeting were inappropriate, for example. This backward-looking approach makes it difficult to envision specific actions you can take moving forward. But here's where it gets interesting. Recent research has uncovered a remarkably simple solution. Instead of asking for feedback, ask for advice. This small change in language can dramatically transform the quality of the guidance you receive. The word advice naturally shifts our focus toward the future. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, people start thinking about what could go right. To test this idea, researchers conducted a series of experiments, including one massive study with a UK government agency that analysed over 27,000 comments. The results were striking. When people were asked to give advice, they provided significantly more specific and actionable suggestions compared to when they were asked to give feedback. What makes this finding so powerful is its simplicity. You don't need expensive training programs or complex organizational restructuring. You just need to change one word. Here's what the research revealed about the difference. When people are asked for advice, they focus more on future actions. Think about specific improvement strategies. Consider what the recipient can realistically implement. When people are asked for feedback, they tend to spend time evaluating past events rather than suggesting forward-looking solutions. This insight has immediate practical applications. In your next one-on-one meeting, instead of saying, "Can you give me some feedback on my performance?" try, "What advice do you have for how I can improve?" When coaching others, frame your input as advice rather than feedback. Here's some advice for your next presentation. Is likely to be more helpful than "Here's my feedback on your presentation." For organizational leaders, consider shifting performance review processes from feedback-heavy approaches to advice-focused conversations. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't a magic bullet. The research also shows important limitations. When you need to address serious past issues or conduct formal evaluations, traditional feedback may still be necessary. The advice approach works best for developmental conversations focused on improvement rather than accountability. The effectiveness can also vary depending on organizational culture and individual relationships. But for day-to-day developmental conversations, the kind that can make or break someone's growth trajectory, this simple language shift can make a profound difference. The bottom line, one word can change everything. By shifting from feedback to advice, you can immediately improve the quality of professional conversations without spending a dime on consultants or training programs. Starting tomorrow, try consciously using the word advice in your workplace interactions. Pay attention to how people respond differently. You might be surprised by how much more helpful and specific their input becomes. This small change could transform communication in your organization, one conversation at a time. If today's insight made you think, "That makes so much sense," please hit that like button. And if you want to discover more fascinating behavioral science research that can improve your work and life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Next time, I'll share another science-backed strategy to make your professional life just a little bit better. Until then, see you in the next video.